I don't know about you, other Bulls fans, but this feels nice. That feeling of tuning in to watch a Bulls game and knowing they've got a good shot to win, knowing you're watching a pretty good team. This is nice. This feels nice, doesn't it? You know that even when the Bulls aren't playing their best, they can beat some teams in this league. You get a chance to watch them beat the fucking Pistons for the second time in a week. And yeah, if you wonder when you talk about rivalries or feelings that run deep, over 3 decades later, I still hate the Detroit Pistons. So yes, fuck them. Bury them while you got the opportunity. I know you got to face the Pistons again without Cade Cunningham. Sometimes timing is nice. Good timing, especially, is very nice. And it's sometimes better to be fortunate than be great. And the Bulls certainly weren't great last night, but they were good enough. And now we sit here in this kind of weird place. I think it's been probably 5 or 6 years since this team got off to a 3-0 start. But your early returns on this team are promising, and you still see opportunities for growth and improvement. And that's probably the most exciting thing of all, right now at least, is I still don't believe this is a championship team, to be clear, nor really truly a championship contender. But this is a type of 4 or 5 seed team that in the East you don't want to face, a type of 4 or 5 seed team that could win a playoff series, maybe 2. They're no joke. And that is exciting to think about the fact that they could play some meaningful playoff basketball in the spring. And also exciting to think about, we haven't seen the best of this team yet. It's still very early in the season. Hopefully we will at some point. But, you know, the way this game started out on Saturday night looked like it could be a bit of a replay of Wednesday night's opener, because the Bulls were up, yes, but only by 3, 38-21 after 1. So you're thinking maybe the Pistons are going to stick around again. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to scratch and they're going to claw, and they're going to make this a battle and a challenge for the Bulls. DeMar DeRozan at least had a good start as he got 11 points in that first quarter. It was a very quiet start and generally a quiet game for Zach LaVine. But the Bulls were well positioned, I guess. At least they came out and got going a little bit offensively. And like I said, especially without LaVine, which is nice to see. Not a one-man show anymore in order to have to win games. They played a little bit better in the second quarter. Only gave up 15 points. So defensively, you know, after not the best of starts in the first quarter, they really put down the clamps in the second and third quarter. In the second quarter, they only gave up 15 points. Their defense really carried the way. And like I said, offensively, you know, Zach LaVine only had 4 points on 2 of 10 shooting. So this was a team that was up by 11, 54-43 at the half, and LaVine really hadn't done shit. What else was impressive about this performance for the Bulls in the first half was you had 14 assists on 18 made baskets. They were talking about it during the game. To see that type of ball movement, to see that type of unselfishness, to see that type of flow within the offense this early in the year is really, really encouraging. DeRozan obviously led the way with the first half scoring with 14 points. And while he wasn't having a great shooting night, what I really liked is seeing the aggressiveness with which he attacked the basket. He had 8 free throw attempts in the first half. That's what this team needs from him. They need a guy that can penetrate. They need a guy that can get to the hoop. They need another guy that can set up others. They need a guy that can get to the free throw line and get some points when maybe the offense is scuffling a little bit. Vucevic had 11, but a somewhat quiet 11 in the first half. Lonzo Ball, I want to call out that he had 3 blocks in the first half. He had some nice defensive sequences by him and this Bulls perimeter defense again in this game. But they really blew this game open in the third quarter. He suffocated the Pistons. He only gave up 11 points to Detroit. It was at this point in time you're saying, oh man, I'm going to be able to kick back and relax in the fourth quarter with no real stresses because the Pistons are cooked. The Bulls' offense was good enough, and their defense was stifling and suffocating this Pistons team. The credit to the Pistons, though, again, talking about this being a scrappy, tough-minded Dwayne Casey team. They're not great. They're certainly not all that talented right now, but they kept clawing and fighting, and you know there's a few minutes left in the game, and all of a sudden it's a 13-point lead, and you say to yourself, shit, like maybe Detroit burned out all their energy coming back, but at the same point in time, they got a lot of momentum going, and the Bulls were able to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, It was too little too late for Detroit, and ultimately the Bulls won 97-82. So now we sit here. The Bulls are 3-0, first place in the division, beating the Pistons twice. Yeah, this is nice. This is a really nice feeling. To have an off season where these big moves happen, to see even early on evidence that these big moves are going to pay off in some type of tangible, meaningful way, to see a team that you've had some hope and expectations for start to appear like they're going to live up to that is awesome. It feels really good. It almost feels kind of awkward after so many years of bitching about Garpax, so many years of shitting on this team, deservedly so. Like, you look at them now and you say, yeah, at least people will have to take the Bulls seriously. They're not a joke anymore. That's for damn sure. Credit to Sadiq Bey of the Detroit Pistons, making the Bulls look bad for taking Patrick Williams 4th overall last year, certainly, by putting up 20 points for Detroit. I love the way he plays the game. He's got some range. He's aggressive, though. He's not the greatest athlete, but, man, he's aggressive, and he plays hard. And it really shows up. And you love the way that you could see and envision him being a secondary scorer opposite of Cade Cunningham going forward. This Pistons team, once Cade Cunningham is in the lineup, is going to look a little bit different, maybe a lot different, and be a little bit of a tougher out. For the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan led a quiet overall offensive night for the Bulls, and he scored under 100 points for the second time in 3 games. But his 21 led the way. And you had 6 players in total in double figures, so you had some good balance. You had Vucevic with 15 points and 19 rebounds, so he had a massive double-double. Zach LaVine, a very quiet night for him. Like, he had a little bit of a spurt in the second quarter, but that was about it. You know, he only put up 14, but he didn't need to tonight. And sometimes that's going to be okay, too. Like, if the team doesn't really need it, conserve that energy for when the team might need you to have a 40-point night. Because those nights are going to come, too, don't get me wrong. Those nights are going to come where LaVine's going to have to score 35, 40, maybe 45. And you want him to conserve his energy. And that's what this game felt like. Do enough to coast by, flash a little bit, you know, but don't go out of your way too much when it's not really needed. Alex Caruso and Javonte Green led the G-Unit. That is the Bulls bench. They combined to have 22 of the 25 bench points. And these two guys, I think, are going to be fan favorites all year long. It almost makes you wonder why Javonte Green didn't play more last year. But now you look at him and you say, man, you put him in 15 to 20 minutes a game. You feel his impact. You feel his presence. You feel his energy level. And then Caruso for 25 to 30 minutes a night. You feel his impact and energy and presence on defense. You also feel it some on offense as a secondary perimeter spacer, as a secondary distributor, as a secondary dribble drive penetrator. Like, he could do a lot of things. Caruso obviously is best on the defensive end, but he's not a total slouch either offensively. And defensively, it was the story again of the night for the Chicago Bulls. They forced 20 Detroit Pistons turnovers, held Detroit to 38% from the field and only just a shade under 18% from 3. It was a tough go for the Pistons, and especially in that third quarter. You know, you would have expected Detroit maybe to come out a little bit better from halftime, and it was the other way around. The Bulls came out and were just dominant. Just dominant. So now you look at the Bulls, they're 3-0. You've got the game coming up on Monday. I believe it's against Toronto. You know, we'll see how that goes, but a chance to start 4-0. And, you know, I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, because there's a lot of season left to go, and a couple of games does not a season make. And we should not get too carried away with shit, and we should not get too crazy about it. But right now, like, this is impressive stuff. We're watching a team that is coming together. We're watching a team that, you know, can put up some points, but can win in other ways. Like, they don't just have to outscore people to win. I think that's the biggest change from a year ago. You know, we could talk about, well, you add a guy like DeRozan and you're getting more scoring. But reality is, with the addition of Alex Caruso, the drafting of Dosunmu, who Io got a little bit of tick in this game that he didn't get on Friday night, and I was glad to see that. He brought some energy as well. Lonzo, like, obviously, he's a great defender. Like, this Bulls team can really defend on the perimeter. And it is going to help them win some games. I love the thought of this team being able to win in a variety of different ways. I still worry, like, do they truly have enough scoring punch? Do they truly have enough outside shooting, especially when you would get to playoff time? But right now, we can think about that stuff later. 3-0 is 3-0, Bulls fans, so we might as well enjoy it while we can.